Welcome to This Week in Sport and Human Rights. We kick off with a surreal week last week in the United States. In the same week that women's rights were under attack in the US, it was also the 50th anniversary of the passing of the landmark legislation known as Title IX. This civil rights law is simple in its 37 words. Quote, "No person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance," end quote. Title IX has been a game changer for both education for women and for women's sport in the US, especially when it comes to conditions and access to resources for college athletes, and has directly contributed to massive growth in women's sport. Talking of the states, we're now going to stay there and turn to the LIV Golf Tour, which has crossed the Atlantic, and the players still seem unprepared to deal with questions around the use of sport to improve a country's reputation, particularly with respect to Saudi Arabia's human rights record. The LIV Tour is a new professional golf tour financed by the Public Investment Fund, or PIF, which is the sovereign wealth fund of Saudi Arabia. The PIF also owns Newcastle United in the Premiership in England. Every country has human rights issues, and of course, many see the reputational benefits of being associated with sport, so we don't like to throw the term sport washing around lightly. But clearly there's a sliding scale here, and the extent to which sport is being specifically used to distract from human rights criticisms and obscure human rights issues is a growing concern. The influence of investment in sport from countries with egregious human rights records is a pressing issue, and even more so when that investment is conditional on borrowing the goodwill and positive perception associated with sport. This is something sport must confront as it seeks to maintain its social license. In the case of LIV Golf, it's clear that the players are facing the press without adequate preparation on human rights and human rights issues in Saudi. The issues are complex, and the players' involvement is obviously financially motivated, which is a legitimate driver. That said, it looks like all concerned are falling short here. So I'd like to end with 3 quick ideas that the golfers might consider that would at least acknowledge some of these concerns. First, they could consider donating a portion of their paychecks to organizations that work on human rights issues in Saudi Arabia or with migrant workers who have returned from there. Second, players could take some time to articulate their own values. For example, if gender equality is important to them, and the extent to which they've raised some of these issues with their investors would help. And third, players could also perhaps seek to learn from other sports and athletes who have been leading voices on human rights issues over the years and develop their own advocacy capacity. We know players' unions in particular offer great support here. And finally, I was sorry to miss the Play the Game conference this week in Denmark. Play the Game, held every 2 years, offers some of the most important conversations regarding sport and offered another excellent program. That virus that's turned the world upside down over the past 2.5 years unfortunately prevented me from attending and speaking in person, but please check out their website for more information on what topics were covered.